Jim Jones, the man who once strutted through Harlem like a king, is reportedly crying after hearing a bombshell so wild and outrageous that even Maury Povich would have screamed, "You are not the father." Or are you sure you heard me right? According to explosive new reports, Jim's longtime partner and reality TV ride or die has been caught in the messiest scandal of the decade. It may or may not have been smuggled out of a courtroom by a shady intern with a bad Wi-Fi connection. Chrissy has been concealing a secret child all along. The betrayal, deceit, and audacity are the most shocking betrayals in hip-hop to date. Will be the last nail in the coffin for the Dipset dynasty? And most importantly, how did it even happen under Jim's nose? Grab some popcorn and buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you will make love and hip-hop look like a Disney film. This is the scandal of all scandals, and we're diving right in right now. The courtroom, which was meant to handle yet another celebrity drama quietly, suddenly turns into the scene of the most shocking betrayal in Harlem. The rapper-turned-mogul is reportedly crying into his Louis Vuitton scarf. 2 words: Chrissy, Lampkin. Yes, Chrissy is the woman who held him down for decades, who stuck with him through label wars, tour drama, and enough reality show fights to make us look tame. Her loyalty was supposed to be unmatched, and she literally proposed to Jim on national television. Has anyone ever seen Jim Jones, Dipset royalty, Mr. We Fly High? He isn't flying at all right now, according to our highly credible, and I mean completely shady, sources close to the situation. In what remains one of VH1's most tense moments, reports from what can only be called the most chaotic court hearing since Cardi B pleaded guilty to throwing shoes at strippers have claimed that Chrissy has been hiding the biggest secret, not a side gig, a dubious LLC, or even a burner Instagram account that involves an entire child, a whole human being, that has allegedly been kept hidden from Jim, the world, and most likely even the producers of Love and Hip Hop. I know what you're thinking, but wait, how does a man who once claimed to have eyes and ears everywhere miss a whole baby-sized elephant in the room? For those of you who are too young, or living in a bubble to remember the Dipset era, here is the backstory you need to understand just how crazy it is. Jim and Chrissy have been the couple of chaos, from Harlem block parties to Love and Hip Hop. They practically invented the blueprint for We're Toxic, but make it iconic through breakups and makeups on again. Those in the know read the janitor, who overheard everything while sweeping outside the courtroom. Jim was blindsided during testimony by shocking documents, alleged text message receipts, and hold on to your wigs. In what witnesses called the most brutal courtroom clapback in reality TV history, Cameron allegedly slid into the courtroom like a pink mink-wearing Grim Reaper and presented the receipts on Chrissy's alleged betrayal because, let's face it, if Cameron is in the room, something messy is about to happen. Off-again drama, missed weddings, matching tattoos, and public arguments that had fans screaming, "Just marry her already." They survived it all, or so we thought. Pulling out an envelope like he was at the Source Awards, I'm going to reveal why my brother Jim has been acting like he was in a love story when, according to our anonymous legal insider, he was actually starring in a daytime soap opera. The evidence presented supposedly shows that Chrissy was secretly involved with another man years ago, and that relationship produced a child that Jim was unaware existed. This isn't just some random messy rumor, though. The courtroom apparently erupted as if it were the BT Awards and someone that Beyoncé was pregnant again. The sound of Jim's entire legacy breaking like a cheap iPhone screen after a drop allegedly caused Jim to slump in his chair, take off his designer sunglasses, and whisper to his lawyer, "I can't believe this." And who could this be? For him, loyalty isn't just a word. It's his brand, his entire persona, and having his most trusted partner as his ride or die. Apparently, he kept this kind of earth-shattering secret. Wasn't just betrayal, it was character assassination in broad daylight. If you think the courtroom was shaken, just think of the screenshots that were leaked online. Twitter was a war zone, with memes, hashtags, TikToks, and think pieces from fake relationship experts who somehow earned a master's degree in Dipset drama. Overnight, Chrissy's secret child went viral, and one Twitter user summed it up perfectly. Jim Jones learning that Chrissy has a secret child is the plot twist we didn't know we needed in 2024. While fans were busy figuring out timelines and doing celebrity paternity math, was this before the show? During season 3, Jim reportedly vanished from public view, and sources claim he canceled all appearances. of a booked club hosting gig and unfollowed Chrissy on Instagram, which, let's face it, is essentially filing for divorce in 2024. Meanwhile, Chrissy has remained silent, not a single post or comment, which has only increased the rumors because, as any fake news investigator knows, silence makes the story more compelling. Even Cameron, the master of shady Instagram captions, has kept Itley low-key for the time being. But if history is any indication, he's just loading the next round of petty for the ideal moment. Now, everyone is left wondering, how the hell did Jim not know how to do that? As the chaos in the courtroom reached a fever pitch, the judge slammed the gavel down and said sharply, "We are adjourned until tomorrow morning. Further evidence and witness testimonies will be presented." The crowd burst into stunned chatter as reporters and paparazzi stormed the courthouse steps like wild animals. And people, this is where things take an even darker turn. The morning after was anything but calm by sunrise. And by sunrise, the courthouse had become the setting for the proceedings. Inside the courthouse, tensions were at an all-time high. Jim Jones arrived with his legal team, a hoodie pulled over his head, sunglasses on, and a face that said, "One thing I did not wake up for this Chrissy was nowhere to be seen." Cameron, on the other hand, arrived fashionably late in a bright pink tracksuit and what could only be described as "I told you so" energy. The hottest circus encamped outside like sneakerheads waiting for a new Jordan drop. Obviously meant nothing at all. Then came the next shocking revelation. The prosecution, supported by anonymous sources who allegedly included a resentful ex-friend and a hairstylist who allegedly overheard everything, presented what they claimed was unquestionable evidence of Chrissy's alleged double life. Exhibit A purportedly leaked private text message between Chrissy and a man who was only identified in court documents as Mr. X. According to the documents, Mr. X and Chrissy had rekindled an old flame around the time Jim and Chrissy were allegedly working on wedding plans. Yikes, the texts were full of cryptic flirtations, talk of secret meetings, and the now famous line that had Twitter in a complete meltdown. Cameron, who had been scrolling through his phone most of the morning like he was bored, raised an eyebrow and said, "Jim." Jim reportedly froze, according to witnesses, looking as though he had just been hit with a sledgehammer of betrayal. His lawyers whispered frantically as the prosecution continued to reveal their so-called mountain of evidence. Next came the alleged bank records, which showed Chrissy had been sending large sums of money each month to a private trust established in the name of a minor. The prosecution claimed that Chrissy was providing financial support for a child that Jim was unaware of, while the defense countered that the payments were for private family matters and charitable donations. However, the damage had already been done, and conspiracy theorists began to piece together timelines, cross-reference old Love and Hip Hop episodes, find suspicious gaps in Chrissy's Instagram posts, and even compare baby photos of Mr. X to prove resemblance. One TikTok boldly declared, "Look at that nose, it's genetics, babe." As the circus raged online, Jim sat silently with no tweets, posts, or even a passive-aggressive mood meme. Some fans started posting side-by-side photos of Jim from years ago versus now with captions like, "This man has aged 15 years overnight. Prayers up." Cameron, who never wastes a good moment for mess, posted a boomerang of himself sipping tea, with the caption, "Patience is everything." However, back inside the courtroom, things were about to get even more crazy when the next witness was a former friend of Chrissy's who was protected by in her testimony. Jane Doe claimed that Chrissy had told her years ago about an accident that resulted in a child, and that she had no intention of ever telling Jim about it. The courtroom erupted in applause, and the judge twice slapped the gavel, which didn't help. Jane Doe also claimed that Chrissy had justified the secrecy by stating, "I couldn't risk him finding out. It would ruin everything." According to Jane, Chrissy was afraid that the truth would destroy not only their relationship, but also their lucrative reality TV endorsements, lucrative reality TV deals, and public image as the ultimate hip-hop power couple for the first time since the scandal broke out. Claimed to have looked up and stared straight ahead without blinking, saying that this wasn't just betrayal, but destruction. The rumors outside the courtroom had now turned into a full-scale media storm, with tabloids screaming headlines and the baby bombshell that finally revealed Jim Jones's darkest secret. The memes were vicious. One viral hit featured Jim's famous "We Fly High" video with the caption changed to "We Cry High." and another featured Mona Scott Young with devil horns, allegedly planning how to turn into 10 new Love and Hip Hop episodes. The public laughed, but the courtroom was electric as reporters frantically typed notes, courtroom sketch artists captured every dramatic reaction, and fans outside were live streaming in hopes of catching even a shadow of Jim or Chrissy walking, in or out. As the court adjourned, Jim stood slowly and pulled the hood back over his head. The defense, obviously shaken, argued that none of the evidence definitively proved anything. The alleged texts were taken out of context, the payments were charitable family support, and the witness testimony was untrustworthy hearsay from a former friend turned opportunist. The judge announced that more witnesses would be heard the next day. The world waited for Mr. X to arrive and finally reveal the truth, for Chrissy to break her silence, for Jim to even recover from this, and for Cameron's petty reign to continue to escalate. The court date was set, and the media dubbed it Judgment Day for Dipset. Outside, fans gathered with signs, one of which read, "Jim, blink twice if you're okay." Another cruelly read, "Chrissy had a whole side quest, and Jim didn't even get the R, side mission notification." And then, as if the countdown had begun, Day 3 of the trial promised to be the most explosive yet, and as the sun set over New York City, one question remained on everyone's mind. Was Jim Jones going to lose not just his relationship but his entire legacy? The fans didn't have any idea. We were planning the final season finale, and breaking news flashed across everyone's phones. Unconfirmed, Mr. X was on his way to New York to testify, and the streets lost their collective minds. The internet did what the internet does best, making predictions, wild accusations, fake screenshots, and of course memes. The world held its breath, wondering what would happen next. The trial was officially renamed the day Mr. Her. Day 3 was just hours away, and as the cameras, reporters, fans, and fake experts prepared to swarm the courthouse once more, the sun rose over Manhattan, but the city felt darker and heavier, as if even the concrete knew what was coming. Crowds had already gathered outside the courthouse at dawn. Some people skipped work, some flew in from other states. Influencers were live streaming from the steps, news vans lined the block, and the trial's third day was officially named the day Mr. When the X finally showed up, an unmarked black SUV pulled up, and the door opened, revealing a tall, sharply dressed man in a navy suit and dark glasses. The crowd gasped, thinking that this was the enigmatic Mr. X, but he just adjusted his tie and walked into the courtroom, where Jim Jones sat silently with his lawyers by his side. His hood was gone, and his face was exposed and weary. Was not the larger-than-life Harlem hustler we had known. Instead, he was a man watching his world fall apart, and a moment later, he entered wearing a Dipset varsity jacket and a look that said, "I live for this mess." The judge called for silence, and the last day of testimony started. Mr. X took the stand, and the gallery leaned forward as if they were going to hear the verdict of a murder trial under oath. Mr. X confirmed that he had known Chrissy for years and that their relationship had once been more than just friends. The gasps came right on cue when he said that during a brief but intense affair many years ago, Chrissy became pregnant and gave birth in secret. According to him, Chrissy insisted Jim could never know, so that revealing the truth would destroy their relationship. The courtroom sat in stunned silence as Mr. X revealed what sent Twitter into a tailspin. He and Chrissy had signed a private legal agreement to keep everything hidden, including monthly child support payments from Chrissy. Mr. X also claimed to have respected her wishes but to have always been involved in the child's life from a distance. Jim Jones looked up for the first time in hours. His eyes locked on, he reportedly whispered, "I gave her everything." There was a document that was allegedly so secret that even Jim's own lawyers were unaware that it existed. Yes, the court had a copy, and when the news broke, the crowd outside erupted. One viral post featured Jim Jones's Dipset chain edited with the words, "trust issues," instead of diplomats. Meanwhile, back inside, the defense rushed to object, claiming that the documents were unauthenticated and that Mr. X was seeking fame, and that everything he had said was a cleverly crafted lie intended to sabotage a famous couple. While this case was technically still a civil dispute, the judge addressed the elephant in the room as proceedings resumed. The shocking evidence presented had drawn the attention of state and federal investigators, and rumors of money laundering, unreported child support funds, and fraud began swirling like vultures. Several record labels started pulling away from pending deals with Jim, and sponsors quietly withdrew contracts. The moment his head was down and shoulders slumped, however, was captured by security photographers in a building. The fallout was occurring in real time as reality TV producers debated whether to cancel or intensify the upcoming season. By the end of the day, Jim's lawyer asked for an emergency adjournment to review the new evidence and prepare a defense against potential criminal exposure. The judge granted it, stating that the court would reconvene in 2 weeks, but the headlines couldn't wait. Jim Jones, the fall of a hip-hop icon, Chrissy's child Bombshell may bring down the Dipset empire, and Cameron declares victory as Jim spirals into a career crisis. Naturally, social media had its own interpretation, with a viral TikTok dubbing Jim the new Tristan Thompson of hip-hop. The most dramatic courtroom saga in recent hip-hop history ended abruptly, but the aftershocks were just getting started. The following morning, the Dipset merch store mysteriously went offline, and Jim's social media remained silent. Some fans called for forgiveness, while others declared that Jim was done. As the courtroom cleared, Jim reportedly stood for a few seconds before leaving alone, and Cameron allegedly muttered under his breath, "Told you." Cameron hosted a surprise Instagram livestream called Petty Wins Again, where he recapped the entire drama for his followers while sipping tea and listening to background instrumentals. He concluded the stream with a final jab, saying, "At least, I don't have to find out on TMZ." Legal experts from all media platforms weighed in on the possibility that Chrissy would be charged with fraud, that Jim might sue for emotional damages, and that Mr. X would now seek custody. Every blogger, podcaster, and couch detective had as of right now, there are no definitive answers. Chrissy is still silent, Jim is still missing, Cam is still Cam, and the world is still glued to the mess. What do you think? Is Chrissy the ultimate villain? Or is there more to this story than anyone knows? Was Jim completely caught off guard, or were there warning signs that he chose to ignore? Will Cameron ever grow weary of being the king of petty? One thing is certain, though, is just the beginning. There will be more leaks, receipts, and courtroom drama. You don't want to miss it. What happens next? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Which team are you on? Jim, Chrissy, Cameron, or both? If you enjoy dramatic celebrity drama with a dash of sarcasm, please hit the subscribe button and enable notifications. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, stay messy and skeptical. Keep in mind that in the world of celebrity fake news, the tea never stops brewing. And that, my friends, is the messy, chaotic, jaw-dropping saga that no one saw coming. Jim Jones broke Chrissy and exposed Cameron somewhere, smiling. Like the king of petty he is. But don't get too comfortable because this story is far from over. We want to hear your wildest theories in the comments section right now. Was Jim completely taken by surprise, or was he just ignoring all the signs? Is Chrissy playing some sort of next-level survival game, or is this the ultimate betrayal? Let's be honest, is Cameron just stirring things up for fun, or does he have a bigger plan up his sleeve? If you're as addicted to celebrity drama as we are, be sure to hit the like button, smash subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Coming next, because believe me, in the realm of false news controversies, the drama never ceases to simmer, the tea only becomes hotter, and the secrets dirtier.